They appeared in our skies without warning. An ancient alliance of species, a council of elders who had judged 1,000 worlds. They summoned 5 of us: a scientist, a soldier, a diplomat, a leader, and a teacher. They put our entire species on trial. Our wars, our art, our triumphs, our sins. They judged us, and they found us wanting. A threat to be sterilized, a plague to be cleansed. But what happens when the primitives you've sentenced to death have 5 days to prepare? What happens when you underestimate a species' ability to learn, to adapt, and to fight back? The Galactic Council voted against Earth and caused their own destruction. Before the verdict is delivered, subscribe to the channel for the complete, declassified testimony, and activate the like button to cast your vote for humanity. Alright, let's begin the story. It was an ordinary Tuesday when the world and the universe changed forever. Dr. Evelyn Reed was the first to see it. On the main screen of the Global Space Observation Center, a distortion in space-time bloomed like a silent, impossible flower. From it emerged a vessel. It was vast, elegant, and utterly alien, a construct of shimmering alloys and captive light that defied all known principles of physics and engineering. It simply appeared in high Earth orbit. There was no communication, no warning, just a single, precise beam of blue light that lanced down from the ship's hull. It touched the green lawn of the United Nations headquarters in New York. When the light vanished, 5 people were gone. Secretary General Anya Sharma, General Marcus Thorne, the highest-ranking military officer of the Global Defense Council, Ambassador Kenji Tanaka, Earth's most celebrated diplomat, Dr. Evelyn Reed herself, the world's foremost theoretical physicist, and Sarah Miller, a kindergarten teacher from a small town in Ohio, who had been at the UN that day with her class to present a children's art project on world peace. The 5 of them found themselves standing, not on grass, but on a floor of glowing, seamless light. They were in a vast, circular chamber. The walls were so distant they were lost in a soft, luminous haze. Around them, in a perfect, tiered circle, sat creatures of every imaginable shape and size. A being of pure, crystalline geometry. A creature of swirling, contained gas. A silicon-based life form that looked like a living mountain. And dozens more, all silent, all watching. A tall, slender being with skin like polished ivory and 4 graceful arms glided forward. "Welcome, Earthlings," it said, its voice a calm, melodic chime that resonated directly in their minds. "I am High Counselor Jathal of the Conclave of Elders. You have been brought here as representatives of your species." Secretary General Sharma stepped forward, her composure a shield of iron. "We come in peace. May I ask why we were brought here without warning or our permission?" A strange, grating sound echoed through the chamber. It was the laughter of the crystalline being. "Permission? Primitives do not grant permission. They are evaluated. You are here for your evaluation." General Thorne's hand instinctively went to the sidearm that wasn't there. "Evaluated for what?" "For over 3 of your centuries, we have observed your planet," Jathal explained, his tone that of a patient academic examining a curious insect. "All developing worlds are watched. When they reach a certain technological threshold, the ability to harness the atom and leave their atmosphere, they are brought before the conclave for a vote." "A vote on what?" Dr. Reed asked, her scientific curiosity momentarily overpowering her fear. "On whether your species will be welcomed into galactic society." Jathal paused, the silence stretching for an eternity. "Or managed." Sarah Miller, the teacher, her heart pounding but her voice clear, spoke for the first time. What does managed mean?" None of the aliens would meet her eyes. The evaluation was a brutal, systematic dissection of the human soul. The conclave projected holographic recordings of Earth's history, moments of staggering beauty and moments of unimaginable horror. They showed the building of the great cathedrals, and then the burning of libraries. They showed a doctor curing a child of a fatal disease, and then a soldier setting a village ablaze. You fight amongst yourselves. An endless, repeating cycle of self-mutilation, accused the crystalline being. "We also heal each other," Sarah countered, her voice trembling but firm. "After every war, we rebuild. We learn. We try to be better. You destroy your own planet," rumbled the silicon-based elder. "You poison your air, your water. You consume without thought for the future. We are learning, Dr. Reed argued. Every year, more of our energy comes from clean sources. We are correcting our mistakes. You are violent, unpredictable, emotional, hissed a serpentine counselor from its suspended fluid tank. Your reactions are illogical. You are a chaotic variable in a stable equation. We are passionate, Ambassador Tanaka replied, his voice smooth as silk. We feel deeply. We love. We grieve. We hope. Is that a crime in this galaxy? The questioning went on for hours. Finally, High Counselor Jathal called for the vote. One by one, the elders cast their judgment. A light would glow on their platform. Green for inclusion. Red for management. There were a few green lights. 89, to be exact. But the red lights were a tide of blood. 317. The chamber fell silent. The vote is 317 against, 89 for, Jathal announced, his voice devoid of any emotion. Earth is denied membership in the Galactic Conclave. Anya Sharma stepped forward. We respect your decision, though we are deeply disappointed. We will return to our world and continue to develop on our own. Perhaps in time, you will reconsider. A strange, dry, rustling sound filled the chamber. It took the humans a moment to realize it was the collective, pitiless laughter of ancient gods. You misunderstand, Jathal said. Denial is not a grant of independence. Denial is a sentence. It is quarantine and eventual sterilization. The word hung in the air like poison. Sterilization? General Thorne's voice was a low, dangerous growl. Are you threatening to exterminate our species? It is not a threat. It is protocol, Jathal replied flatly. Species deemed too volatile, too chaotic, or too rapidly advancing are removed to protect the greater galactic community. Your nuclear weapons, your unpredictable emotional nature, your exponential technological growth, you are a future threat. A plague in its incubation stage. You can't do this ! Sarah cried, tears streaming down her face. There are 8 billion people on Earth ! Children ! Families who have done nothing wrong ! It is decided, Jathal said. You have 5 of your Earth rotations before the enforcement fleet arrives to carry out the sentence. You were brought here not for negotiation, but as a final courtesy, to be informed of the Conclave's judgment. General Thorne lunged forward, only to be thrown back by an invisible, shimmering barrier. We will fight you ! We will fight you with everything we have ! Jathal looked at him with what might have been pity. Others have tried. The outcome is always the same. Dr. Reed, who had been silent, processing every detail, suddenly spoke up. Before you send us back, may I ask a purely scientific question? Your ships, how do they travel faster than light? The physics of it, it fascinates me. Several council members shifted, but Jathal gave a slight nod. A final educational exchange seems harmless. Our ships create a quantum fold, a bubble of altered space-time, using a stabilized gravitational singularity. The stabilization matrix must be in perfect harmonic resonance. Fascinating, Dr. Reed said, her mind racing, filing the information away. And your shields? Also gravity-based. Enough, hissed the serpentine counselor. They are gathering intelligence. Return them. Before anyone could speak again, the blue light enveloped them. In an instant, they were back in the United Nations building. They carried with them the knowledge that their world was sentenced to die. The emergency meeting of the Global Council was grim. The 5 returned humans told their story. The planet's leaders listened in stunned, horrified silence. 5 days, the president of the Pan-Asian Republic whispered. 5 days until a fleet of gods arrives to erase us. But Dr. Evelyn Reed was already at a whiteboard, frantically scrawling equations. They made a mistake, she said, her voice electric with a terrifying, brilliant hope. They are arrogant. They answered my question. She turned to the assembled leaders, her eyes burning with an intensity that commanded the room. Their entire technology, their drives, their shields, their weapons. It's all based on perfect, stable, harmonic resonance of gravitational fields. They see it as a symphony. But I know what happens when you introduce a single, precisely tuned, dissonant note into a symphony. She took a shaky breath. The entire thing collapses into noise. A plan was born. A desperate, impossible plan. While General Thorne began the largest global military mobilization in history, Dr. Reed's voice was broadcast to every university, every laboratory, every tech company on the planet. I need physicists. I need engineers. I need programmers. We have less than 120 hours to weaponize the laws of physics." And Sarah Miller, the kindergarten teacher, went on television. Her face was tear-streaked, but her voice was a pillar of strength. "I was there," she told the terrified people of Earth. "I saw them. They judged us for our passions, for our messy, beautiful, and sometimes terrible hearts. But that heart is what binds us together. Today, there are no nations. There is only humanity, and we will not let them steal our children's future." Her words became a rallying cry. Around the world, fear turned to a grim, unified resolve. Factories began churning out strange new devices, gravity spikes. Satellite dishes were repurposed. Old nuclear missile silos were retrofitted not with bombs, but with Dr. Reed's new theoretical weapon. On the fourth day, long-range sensors screamed. The Conclave's enforcement fleet had arrived early. They had come to catch Earth unprepared. They were about to discover their mistake. Humanity had been underestimated for the last time. The first adjudication fleet of the Conclave of Elders entered Earth's orbit with the cold, silent precision of a surgeon's scalpel. 50 massive, elegant vessels, each one capable of cracking a continent. High Counselor Jathal's voice boomed from every screen on the planet. "Your time is up. Surrender now for a painless end." General Thorne, from the depths of the Cheyenne Mountain Command bunker, gave a single order: activate the grid. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of hastily launched satellites and drones fired simultaneously. They did not shoot missiles or lasers. They emitted precisely calibrated, focused pulses of gravitational waves. Invisible, seemingly harmless. On the bridge of the Conclave flagship, alarms shrieked. High Counselor /. Gravimetric integrity failing /. Shields are in flux /. I can't stabilize the resonance /. Weapons are offline /. The targeting computers are scrambling /. What is happening? Jathal demanded, his calm shattering. The humans, his science officer projected, the thought laced with disbelief. They are manipulating gravitational fields. They are fighting us with mathematics. Impossible /. They do not have that technology /. They appear to have developed it. In 5 days, the officer replied grimly. In the bunker, Dr. Reed watched the data streams, a triumphant smile on her exhausted face. "It's working. Their whole system is a house of cards, and we just pulled out the foundation." With the Conclave fleet crippled, disoriented, and their shields flickering, General Thorne gave his second order. "Launch everything we have." It wasn't a fleet. It was a swarm. Repurposed cargo haulers with railguns bolted to their hulls. Old space shuttles armed with nuclear-tipped missiles. A desperate, glorious cloud of human defiance, targeting the disabled, vulnerable alien ships. Their goal was not to destroy. It was to disable, to capture, to learn. Jathal, watching in horror as his invincible fleet was being systematically dismantled by primitives, gave the order to retreat. But it was too late. 5 of the massive vessels, their stabilization matrices completely fried, crashed into Earth's atmosphere, breaking apart in spectacular fireballs that lit up the sky from Shanghai to San Francisco. At a crash site in the Amazon rainforest, Sarah Miller accompanied a team of first responders. Amidst the strange, glowing wreckage, she found a survivor. A wounded alien, a young Cygnian, its liquid-like form oozing from a gash in its containment suit. It cowered, expecting a killing blow. Sarah knelt beside it. "We're not going to hurt you," she said gently, her voice soft. "We're going to help you." The Cygnian's large, luminous eyes blinked in confusion. "Why? We came to destroy you." "Because that's what humans do," Sarah replied, applying a makeshift pressure bandage. "We help those in need, even our enemies." The Cygnian, who they came to call Lyra, provided crucial, terrifying intelligence. "The Conclave doesn't fear you because you are primitive," Lyra explained to Dr. Reed. "They fear you because you are adaptive. Most species take millennia to develop what you achieve in centuries. Your rate of change terrifies them. And the sterilization, it is a gravitational pulse weapon. A planet killer. They have used it 17 times before on worlds that were judged." The news hardened humanity's resolve. The war was not over. It had just begun. 7 days later, Earth's long-range sensors shrieked again. A new fleet. A much larger fleet. Over 200 conclave ships, including a colossal command vessel. The final sanctioned fleet. But this time, Earth was ready, and they had a new plan. As the second, massive fleet moved into attack formation, a single, small, human stealth ship, the UES Pathfinder, slipped away from Earth, its hull painted with radar-absorbent material, its engines running cold. On board were 6 of Earth's best, a team of hackers, soldiers, and engineers. And one alien defector, Lyra, who would be their guide. Their mission was simple. Impossible. Infiltrate the Conclave command ship and upload a virus. A virus created by Dr. Reed. A ghost in their perfect machine. The battle began. The new fleet had adapted. Their shields now resisted the gravity spikes. Earth's defenses buckled. Cities were hit. Tokyo, Cairo. Millions died. But they bought time. Aboard the Pathfinder, the team faked a distress signal, their ship mimicking a damaged Conclave scout. They were pulled into the massive command ship's repair bay. Guided by Lyra, they fought their way through the ship's corridors to the central computer core, a vast, crystalline structure that was the brain of the entire Conclave network. How long till upload? The team leader shouted over the blaster fire of approaching guards. 2 minutes /, replied the lead programmer. We'll give you 2 minutes. They made their stand. As the programmer slammed the data drive into the core's access port, alarms blared. The virus, a thing of pure, weaponized logic, began to spread. On the command ship's bridge, Jathal watched his tactical displays dissolve into chaos. Then, they all flickered and resolved into a single, stark message, broadcast on every screen in his fleet, and then, through the network, to every corner of the galaxy. The truth. The virus didn't just disable the fleet. It unlocked the Conclave's most deeply buried, most horrific secrets. The secret recordings of the debates to sterilize 17 worlds. The logs detailing the real reasons, to acquire resources, to eliminate potential rivals. The final, panicked, screaming transmissions from those 17 murdered civilizations. The Conclave's authority, built on a lie of 10,000 years, evaporated in an instant. Across the galaxy, fleets mutinied. Member worlds seceded. Oppressed species rose up in rebellion. The Conclave of Elders was over. In the command core, the human team was captured. Jathal stormed in, his face a mask of pure rage. Humans /. What have you done? The team leader, wounded but defiant, looked at him and smiled. We introduced you to a concept you seem unfamiliar with, High Counselor. Consequences. In the end, it was humanity that offered the terms. Jathal and his inner circle were brought to trial before a new Galactic Congress, hosted on Earth, with representatives from dozens of newly freed species and the ghosts of 17 dead worlds as their accusers. A year later, that new Congress was a chaotic, loud, vibrant, and messy thing. Sarah Miller was now Earth's ambassador. She watched the delegates argue, debate, and laugh, and she smiled. Lyra, the Cygnian defector, now the representative of her own free people, stood beside her. It is not orderly, Lyra observed. No, Sarah said, her heart full. It's not. It's alive. And that's so much better. Humanity had not become the new ruler of the galaxy. They had become its liberator. They had been judged a plague, and in response, they had delivered the cure. They appeared in our skies without warning. An ancient alliance of species, a council of elders who had judged 1,000 worlds. They summoned 5 of us. A scientist, a soldier, a diplomat, a leader, and a teacher. They put our entire species on trial. Our wars, our art, our triumphs, our SI&S. They judged us, and they found us wanting. A threat to be sterilized, a plague to be cleansed. But what happens when the primitives you've sentenced to death have 5 days to prepare? What happens when you underestimate a species' ability to learn, to adapt, and to fight back? The Galactic Council voted against Earth and caused their own destruction.